Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a look inside the Fiend Folio from our friends across the pond, Great Britain. We're going to take a look at the Grell. Beautiful full-page picture of a Grell attacking, and here's the Grell's entry. Interestingly, there was a comic book artist in the 70s and 80s, still active as far as I know. His name was Mike Grell. He drew for DC comic books. He drew Legion of Superheroes and then a series called The Warlord. And at my table, we had a number of comic book enthusiasts, so became whenever the Grell would pop up, he was the Mike Grell. It's just something that we did. But anyway, number appearing is 1, armor class 4, 12-inch move, 5 hit dice. Number of attacks is 11, damage is 10 times 1 to 4, and 1 at 1 to 6. Special attacks, paralyzation, special defense is immune to lightning, standard magic resistance, intelligence is average, it's neutral evil, and it's medium size. The appearance of this dreadful creature is fearsome indeed. A body with a giant exposed brain, approximately 5 feet in diameter, and with a frontal beak, below which trail 10 6-foot-long tentacles. The beast flies by a levitation process, small inflections of the tentacles controlling movement, horizontal movement. It is maneuverability class D. I always thought these things might be related distantly to beholders. Grell are usually found underground, but is occasionally seen in ruined or abandoned buildings. They are particularly dangerous and vicious, dropping on their victims from above whenever circumstances permit. That is a great attack mode. The old party comes in, they walk through the door, they look around, and then dropping from on top of them, ending up like this guy, is a Grell. And here's why it's a really effective way. All 10 tentacles can be brought to bear on a single victim. Each inflicts 1 to 4 hit points of damage and carries a small spine, which can inject venom into the victim. This will paralyze the victim unless he makes a saving throw against paralyzation at +4. If any one of the tentacles succeeds in paralyzing a victim, each melee round thereafter, 2 tentacles remain anchored to the body, the Grell lashing with the other 8 tentacles for 1 to 4 points of damage each, and rending with its beak for 1 to 6 points of damage. And none of these attacks after the initial paralyzation requires a hit roll. Once the Grell has grasped its victim, lucky is he who escapes alive. Now, I also let the Grell attack somebody else. So if he's paralyzed somebody, he uses 2 tentacles to hold that individual, but then he can lash out at somebody else nearby. Any hit on a tentacle will render it inoperative, although if the creature survives, the tentacle will regenerate in 1 to 2 days. But the damage is not subtracted from the creature's hit points. Only by hitting the body can the Grell be damaged in the usual way. The body and tentacles all have armor class 4. Grell are immune to lightning, but otherwise have standard magic resistance. And the body of the Grell is olive drab color, streaked with white. The tentacles are pale olive green. Love the Grell. The 11 strikes, what I do is in the initial save, if I have one of these drop from on top and there's 10 attacks, and of the 10 attacks I hit with 4, I make the save versus paralyzation -1 per tentacle hit. So the +4 save versus paralyzation that the player would be entitled to at my table would suffer a -4 penalty, so it would be just a standard paralyzation save because of the number of times it was hit. The more times it's hit, the more venom is injected, in my opinion. So that's just a ruling I've made at our table. But Grells are wonderful. They're especially good if you have them in subsequent rooms. I love doing that with these kind of things, or trappers or lurkers, where they've encountered one in one room and they think they're all good. They go to the next room and there's another Grell. They're only 5 hit dice and they're only armor class 4. So these are really good lower to middle encounters. You can use these guys anywhere from like 3rd to 6th, maybe even 3rd to 7th, depending on the strength of the party and what you really want to achieve. If you want to just whittle away some hit points, or if you just want to make them more cautious in the dungeon or that kind of thing, a Grell is a really good monster for that. And as I've said, in my opinion, at my table, these things are distantly related to beholders because they have the ovoid shape, they have the levitation. Instead of eye stalks, they have tentacles. It just makes sense to me. So I do allow the Grell to attack when they're holding somebody, and if they happen to paralyze 2 victims, each victim has to be held by 2 tentacles. So of the 10 initial tentacles, if they're holding 1 victim, they only have 8 to attack with, and if they're holding 2 victims, they only have 6 to attack with. I do let them go ahead and hit one of the paralyzed targets for full damage, and it's full damage at my table. So the 1 to 4 is 4 without a hit needed because the target creature is paralyzed. So these things can be surprisingly overwhelming, and they can do it kind of quickly and a little bit by surprise because your players, it's a 4 hit dice monster, but that number of attacks can be devastating. And it really is up to the GM how you're going to do the attacks. If it's a surprise situation, I actually give all 10 tentacle attacks in the initial surprise attack, in the initial segment. So it's surprise, it's dropped down, nobody's taken the caution to look up above or examine their surroundings, this thing's dropped down. When it lands on you, I give it all 10 attacks. And then, of course, as I said, each successful attack equals a -1 on the save versus paralyzation at my table. So that's how I've done it. I find it a really effective monster. I've always loved Grells. They're a good mid-level monster for you. They're going to hurt your party, but they're not going to kill it unless you make the mistake of throwing this at a party that's already very wounded, or if they're lugging around a couple of unconscious compatriots from a previous encounter, a Grell can be a total party kill. So be careful when you use these guys. Don't just throw them out there. Judge the circumstances before you put them out. But there you have it. That's a quick look at our friend Mike Grell from Fiend Folio for AD&D. And I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please leave any comments below. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe to the channel. And take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. And thank you for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on page 121.